Hey, what's up, guys? Trevor James bringing you another deck profile. This one is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. I know I do Vanguard, Magic, all that kind of stuff like that, but this is a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this deck is really, really fun. I've been running this for about 5 months now. It's not exactly that competitive, but it's just a really fun deck, and when I do get some effects off, literally it becomes very competitive because some of the effects are ridiculously broken. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys off my UA deck, or Ultimate Athlete. Some of you guys have probably heard of this deck, but it's just a really fun deck. So without further ado, let's get this started. For monsters, I run 3 UA midfielder. This guy is literally the whole reason that this deck works. He's also very, very good, because when he hits the field, I then get to bring him back to my hand and then call out another UA monster. He's my only level 4 UA monster, so he's the only one that I could use that effect off to get the other UAs out at the beginning of the game. So if I didn't have him and had a bunch of UAs in my hand, if I didn't have the spells that I needed to summon him or any of the other stuff, I'd literally be locked out. So he's a great card, and if I didn't have him, my deck wouldn't work. Next up, I run 3 UA Mighty Slugger. This guy's literally the Pallades of the deck. When he hits the field, or not when he hits the field, but when I attack with him, my opponents can't activate any spell or trap cards or monster effects till the end of the damage step. So he literally gets directly through, and he's a 2300 beater, so it's just a fun card. Next, I run literally the end gamer of my deck. This is UA Dreadnought Dunker. If you guys haven't realized yet, most of the UAs are not holographic. They're all very common looking. Some of them are rares, but most of them are common. But that doesn't stop them from being ridiculously powerful. Dunker is one of those cards. When he attacks my opponent's monster, he inflicts piercing damage to that monster, and if he actually gets damage through, then I get to destroy another one of my opponent's monsters. So he literally becomes really powerful, not to mention he's 2500. When I have like my field spell or something, he's going to be 3000, and at that point, it's going to be really hard to stop him. Next up, I run 2 UA Perfect Ace. This card is quite a good card. When my opponent uses a effect during their turn, whether it's a monster effect or whatever, when they use an effect, I can discard 1 card from my hand and negate that effect and destroy it. So it's really good, but it's only used during my opponent's turn. Also run 2 UA Blockbacker. I've seen people run him at 3. I only run him at 2. I know he's good with defensive, but his effect is pretty good. When my opponent special summons a monster, I can then flip that monster into defense and negate the effect to the end of the turn. So it's really quite good card. Next up, I run UA Goalkeeper. I'm getting into my one-ofs now. So Goalkeeper, what he does is he's a great wall for one, but also when my opponent tries to destroy a UA monster on my side of the field, I can use this effect once per turn where I can literally negate that destruction of my card. So my monster would not be able to be destroyed by any card effect or battle or whatever. If it was removed or something, then yes, it would be destroyed, or not destroyed, but it would get off the field. But he's just a good savior for the deck when it comes to that kind of stuff. Next up, I run 1 UA Rival Rebounder. This guy's decent. During my opponent's turn or during my turn, if I normal summon him, I can then special summon a UA monster from my graveyard. If it's during my opponent's turn, it has to be special summoned. So, let's say I use like a card to special summon it from my hand. Well, it has to be during my opponent's turn for the effect to actually go off. And then I run 1 UA Playmaker. This guy is a fun little card. I can literally take 800 attack from him and add it to another one of my monsters. So I can literally go for game for like a really powerful hit when I get him out. So it's a fun card. And then I run 2 Giant Rat because there's no way in hell I would be able to not get midfielder in. So in the chance that I don't get midfielder in my hand first turn and I have a Giant Rat, it's just a defensive wall there, and then I'll just bring out a midfielder and then be able to use my effects. So he's very important in this deck. I know a lot of decks he's not, but in this deck he is, and mine's Secret Rare, because I love Secret Rare. It's such a nice rarity. That's it for my monsters. For my spells, I have 3 UA Stadium. This is literally a great field spell card. When I play it and I normal summon a UA monster, I can then check my deck and add 1 UA monster from my deck to my hand, so it has that search ability. And then also, when I special summon a UA monster, that monster goes up by 500 attack, as well as any other UA monsters on my field at the time. And those will stay like that, so it'll constantly be boosting the attack of my monster. So if, let's say, I special summon 2 UA monsters in the same turn, then both of those both of those monsters are going to go up. One of them is going to go up by 10, by 1,000. One of them is going to go up by 500. So it's awesome. Next up, I have 3 UA Signing Deal. This is a great card. When I play it, I can then special summon a UA monster from my deck, and then I'll take the damage for the level of that UA monster times 300. So it hurts me, but it's going to allow me to get out my midfielder or just something really good. So it's extremely useful. And then the most busted card of my deck, UA Power Jersey. This card is literally one of the most broken equipped cards I've ever seen. When you equip to UA monster, that monster then goes up by 1,000 attack. It also inflicts double the amount of damage that would have been done. So let's say I hit my opponent for like 2,000 damage. Well, guess what? That's getting doubled the 4,000 damage. Now that's not it head-on attacking. That's the infliction. So let's say I did 2,000, then it would be 4,000. But it doesn't mean my monster goes up by double the attack. It just means that it gets the double infliction. So it's really awesome for that. And then also, if my monster attack goes through, that monster then gets to attack again. So I know that sounds super, super busted, and it straight up is. The only downfall is the fact that at the end of the turn, if I don't bring that UA monster back to my hand, then my Power Jersey is going to die, and also my UA monster. So I would bring them both back to my hand, which means the Power Jersey would get bounced to my hand too, and then I could just use it the next turn. So it's a really, really busted card, but it does have the negative side effect of that, but that I never have to use that negative side effect. And then I run Triple Rhoda, because that's extremely important in this deck for my midfielders, because I have to be able to search them out. So my Rhodas, and then I also run 3 Monarch Stormforth. This card is really fun. I can basically activate it. It's a quick play card, so I can activate it. I can take one of my opponent's monsters, and then I can sacrifice it for one of my own monsters in my hand. So it has to be normal summon, so I can't special summon a monster, but I can normal summon that monster during my opponent's turn or during my turn whenever I want to activate the card. Really, really fun card. And then I run 2 MSTs, not 3, because my deck has way too many spell cards to begin with. 1 Terraforming to search out that field spell, and then 1 UA Turnover Tactics. This card is a very interesting card that allows me to take all the monsters I have on my field as long as I have 2 or more UA midfielder or UA monsters on the field, and my opponent would have to take that amount of monsters too. They go back to the deck, and then we special summon the same amount of monsters back to the field with different names. So it can definitely change up some tactics, especially if my opponent has like a bunch of like XYZs on the field, like really powerful ones. Then I can just do that. They'd have to special summon just normal monsters. Really fun. And then the final card in my deck is 3 of UA Penalty Box. This card is the only trap that I run because it's a great trap. When I have a UA monster on my field and my opponent attacks that UA monster, I can flip this penalty box. What it does is it removes my opponent's monster, and if my penalty box gets destroyed, I can remove it from the graveyard to then add a UA UA spell card to my hand. So it allows me to search out that spell cards, and it's just a great card when it comes to being able to remove my opponent's monsters. So yeah, guys, that's my UA deck. It's a fun deck. Like I said, it's not as competitive as some of the other decks out there, but it is a very fun deck. Hope you guys enjoyed my deck profile, and tell me what you guys think. Let me know if I should change some stuff up or whatever. So have a great day, guys, and I will see you guys later. Bye.